In the last video, we had finally found the location of the Queen of Spirits. Will Rimuru's plan save the kids? Let's find out! Entering the labyrinth in the park, the group is led by a sneaky voice in their heads to face their test in the form of a golem with a magisteel body and extremely high magicule energy. A combination of arcane thread fetters and hell flare from Rimuru destroys the golem and completes the test. This causes much excitement amongst his students, having witnessed the strength and wit of their teacher. A tiny fairy appears in their midst when Rimuru threatens her with the same fate as the so-called test she set up. She introduces herself as one of the 10 great demon lords, Ramaris of the Labyrinth. Rimuru refuses to believe she is a demon lord, having previously seen the powers that Milim and Carrion possess. This causes much anger on the part of Ramaris, since being compared to Milim doesn't go down well with her. When she questions Rimuru whether he is the slime leader of the Jura Forest, Rimuru shows her his true form, quite surprising the kids as well. Well, kids will always find slime cute. Non-kids too at times. Having destroyed the golem that Ramaris had put in a lot of effort to build, Rimuru offers to get her a new golem in return for a favor. He explains his need for superior spirits to inhabit the children so their energy could be controlled before it destroys them. He says this is why he needs Ramaris to introduce him to the Queen of Spirits. Hearing this, Ramaris replies that she is the Queen of Spirits. She said she is what now? A shocked Rimuru doesn't understand why a demon lord would be the Queen of Spirits, but Ramaris corrects him by saying that she is actually fallen from grace and become a demon lord instead. She mentions in passing that demon lord Leon also fell from grace. Upon urging, she adds that Leon had once wanted to know something and had summoned a superior spirit from ancient times. That was when, as queen, Ramaris recognized Leon as a hero and granted him the protection of the spirits. Rimuru realizes that there is more to this demon lord Leon than he can fathom at the moment, and considered what took more precedence, he requests Ramaris to take him to the dwelling of spirits. She agrees to help him with his summoning and takes the group towards the dwelling in the deepest part of the labyrinth. At the dwelling, Ramaris explains that while Rimuru can summon superior spirits here, he could also separate some of the energy to create a new superior spirit in case he doesn't get a response from a spirit. Realizing that this is going to be difficult, Rimuru self-motivates by reminding himself that he can surely do this if Demon Lord Leon has been able to do it in the past. He thinks of Shizu and makes up his mind that he will definitely make her wish come true. The process of summoning spirits begins with Gale. When he prays, he is only able to summon inferior spirits. Rimuru consults with Great Sage whether they can create a new spirit from these fragments. He uses gluttony and consumes them, and Great Sage unifies them into a superior spirit using Degenerate. When Rimuru transfers this newly created spirit to Gale, Great Sage reports that since his energy is calming down, they have been successful in saving him. Overwhelmed, a tearful Gale thanks Rimuru. The process of unifying fragments of inferior spirits to create one superior spirit repeats for Alice as well. This means Rimuru has already saved 2 of his 5 students. Things seem to be going well. As of now, moving on to Kenya, a superior light spirit appears even before Kenya started to pray. The spirit proclaimed that it can sense greatness in Kenya, that he might even be a hero someday. It promises to look after him till he grows up and promptly fuses with Kenya, thereby completing the process. Rimuru had to combine his use of gluttony and degenerate to create a superior spirit for Ryota, and just like that, he has saved 4 of his students already. Everyone feels a change in pressure when Chloe begins to pray. It so happens that a spiritual body that is considered equivalent to a superior spirit appears before them. Great Sage informs Rimuru about the tremendous amount of energy the spiritual body possesses. While Rimuru and Ramaris debate over the danger this could cause, the body fuses itself with Chloe. Upon examining Chloe, Great Sage reports that the energy it observed earlier has disappeared, and that Chloe is fortunately stable. Ramaris expresses her worries as she says that whatever that thing was, it was surely of the future, and that by inhabiting Chloe, it has ensured its rebirth. Well, since that's a problem for the future, let's focus on the fact that Rimuru has successfully saved all 5 kids. Woohoo! As promised to Ramaris, Rimuru replaced the golem he had destroyed and summoned a demon to possess it before leaving the labyrinth. Back at Yuki's office, Rimuru avoids telling Yuki how he managed to save the kids by giving him the greatest bribe of all, more manga. Once outside with Shizu's mask, Rimuru thinks back to everything he has gone through since the time he was reincarnated as a slime, exploring his abilities, befriending and consuming Veldora, meeting the goblins and Ranga, meeting Shizu and knowing her troubles, joining forces with Benimaru and his group, meeting the lizard men, battling the orcs, forming the alliance with King Gazel, Milam's arrival at Tempest, conquering Charybdis, and finally getting to Ingrassia to save Shizu's students and fulfilling his promise. You've done well, Rimuru. Meanwhile, Rimuru is being watched by a demon who regrets not getting there on time when summoned. He laments that his own family beat him to reach Rimuru before he could, and thus promises that in the future, such a mistake shall not be repeated. Leaving Ingrassia with a heavy heart, Rimuru bids farewell to his students. He hands over Shizu's mask to Chloe and even gifts new robes to the 5 of them. Promising to visit again with Ranga, Rimuru attempts to make them stop crying and takes his leave. On his way to Tempest, unknown to him, Rimuru is watched by a woman in armor. Alright, flashback, here we come. A vengeful, dying woman is using her blood for a ritual on a dark night. Her ritual has summoned a demon to whom she pledges her soul and pleads with all her heart to destroy them. Amused that a lowly woman summoned a demon of his stature, and happy that he has something to do, the demon agrees. After the woman dies and the demon devours her soul, he proclaims that since her emotions had a great taste, his service to her will be just right. He also decides to take her prey, the them, for himself, as the rest of his payment with the intention of enjoying his time back in the living world after a long time. Elsewhere, Shizu has arrived at the kingdom of Filtwood as she has been specially invited to defeat a resurrected demon. In the castle, the minister announces to the gathered adventurers that their 2 silver wings have been killed, and hence have failed their quest of defeating the demon. Appealing to the rest of them to attempt this mission, he refers to the account of the champion Orthus from about a century ago. He informs the gathering that the account tells of Orthus sealing the demon away, but it doesn't explain the procedure he followed. This news isn't received well, seeing the serious deficit of information and the heightened risk. The minister responds by saying that they might not know how to trap the demon again, but they know that the demon is looking for its own remains laid to rest in the underground reception hall of the castle. This is so its resurrection process can be completed. Hearing this, Shizu raises her hand. Speaking to the minister, she confirms that considering this demon has defeated the 2 silver wings and has almost completely destroyed the kingdom, it has to mean that it is an archdemon. When the minister replies in the affirmative, she asks whether the demon has a name, as it is when a monster is named that it gains greater power. The minister says that none of their records show that the demon has a name. Shizu concludes that without a name, it cannot be an archdemon, but remains puzzled about its capability of defeating the Silver Wings if he isn't an archdemon. A frustrated adventurer makes to leave, which is when he is killed by one of the knights securing the venue. As the other adventurers raise a furor over this shocking treatment, the knight demands that they observe the corpse from which a lesser demon has begun emerging. The knight announces that there could be others who have been possessed by demons as well, and hence warns everyone to remain peaceful. Peaceful? In the face of this chaos, my man? Yikes! Just then, the sudden reveal of the presence of one of the adventurers surprises Shizu. Yeah, that's our demon buddy here on a mission, but nobody knows that yet, so shh! Addressing the knights, this adventurer proclaims the lesser demon was summoned by them, and hence he does not intend to obey their orders. He further says that the kingdom's request to kill the revived demon doesn't say anything about having to kill just the demon. Good point there, dude. Realizing that this adventurer seeks to kill everybody in attendance, an irate Shizu then challenges this guy who calls himself Kuro to a duel. To the shock and awe of every adventurer present, an intense and evenly matched battle begins. In the aftermath of Shizu's inferno flame, Kuro finally appears as the demon he is. When he attacks Shizu, her mask causes his arm to fall off. This leads to his revelation about her mask having an infinite time compression. A human being able to wear such a mask that surpasses time intrigues him and causes him to disappear in retreat. Relieved at his retreat, Shizu is left thinking about who could such a powerful demon be working for. The next morning, Shizu thinks about how Demon Lord Leon had told her about demons called progenitors. While they didn't have names, they were known after their signature color, such that red would be called rouge, white became blanc, black is noir. She observes that Kuro means black, but dismisses the thought that such a demon would be at Filtwood. Just then, a knight informs Shizu that the king would like to meet with her. Leading her to a hall underground, Shizu sees the minister seated on one side of the throne and a very sorry-looking king seated on the other. The knight takes the throne in the center and thanks Shizu for her service to his kingdom? Wow! Just wow! He also goes on to reveal that while he is the ruler of the land, he is also Orthos. Does honesty not mean anything anymore? Realizing that the whole defeat the demon mission was fake, Shizu concludes that the actual objective was to gather every able adventurer and eliminate them for the Demon King Orthos to gain even more power. Orthos then enlightens her about why he asked for an audience with her. While he intends to destroy her and gain power, he is also deeply interested in acquiring her mask. Being an archdemon himself, he easily overpowers Shizu, who hasn't even had a chance to prepare herself against this sudden duel. About to unleash Ifrit in order to defeat Orthos, Shizu makes to remove her mask. Just then, she is stopped by the appearance of Kuro. Dropping the heads of the demonically possessed knights he's executed, he proceeds to easily kill the minister, the puppet king, and eventually the archdemon Orthos as well. Kuro declares to destroy the soul of Orthos so that he can never hope to be revived in the future. Agreeing to not target Shizu if she got her story right for the people of Filtwood, Kuro takes her leave. Accordingly, the next day, the news of the deaths of the minister and the king are told to be the work of a demon named Black. And it was made sure that the record showed the defeat of Black at the hands of Shizu. And let me tell you a tiny secret now. Remember that demon who promised to be on time when summoned by Rimuru the next time? Yeah, this demon, Kuro, or Black if you prefer, he is that demon. Also, just for your information, Rimuru will name him Diablo when he summons him later. Keep that in mind. Oh, and another tiny little thing to remember before the next season. That woman in armor that was watching Rimuru on his way back to Tempest? Yeah, she's Shizu's former student, Hinata Sakaguchi. The one whose power Yuki said surpassed Shizu's, remember? Yeah, that very one. She's now the chief knight of the Imperial Guard, and if those words weren't enough to make you curious about her, she also thinks that Rimuru killed her Shizu-sensei. Okay, bye now. Just kidding. Do let me know in the comments below if you would like to know more about what happens ahead in the story. Alright, really now? Okay, bye.